All right, so we are here. Today is NFP. Sorry about the delay. Had some issues with the stream rate in OBS. Wouldn't allow me to set it to what I wanted to. A higher quality stream for some reason. So if anybody joins in and knows why that's a possibility, feel free to chime in and give me some information on that. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Gonna see how this NFP prints today. I'm not sure what I'm expecting, if I'm gonna be honest. We are, we're at the high of the dealing range. We're on a Friday. I'd like to see us come up here and swipe the previous week highs. I feel like we could do that for the print here in a few minutes. I like to see that happen, but where it goes from there, it's kind of up in the air, really. That's the thing. These things, I mean, try not to be in a position during that. That's all I gotta say. That is all I got to say. I'm gonna try to link this video here. In 1 second. Get a little. I'm gonna post this on Twitter, see if I can't get some folks to join in. All right, 2 minutes to 8:30. Let's see what we get, right? I am definitely just going to keep it up in mind. You got 49, 48 seconds. I know there's a little bit of a delay in the stream, so I would like to see us run up and take out these previous week highs. I feel like that would be not unusual. Sometimes there's a trade that I'll take, which I call a half the news candle print. We'll run in a direction, and a lot of times it likes to fill at least half of the inefficiency of the news candle. It's a pretty decent trade if you can time it just right. The trick is timing it. So definitely go in smaller, scale in. Here we go with the print. Let's run those previous week highs. And we're on the 15-minute time frame. Switch to the 1 minute. I'm blasting through the gold back level high. We are coming down. This is why you don't try to position yourself ahead of time of this. That would be insanity. So I'm surprised that we didn't go for the highs first. We did spike liquidity on both sides of the market here. We'll give it some time. The print came in better, 0.5% better for the earnings. The non-farm payroll change was lower than expected, but not by much, 143,000 versus 169,000. Not terrible. Now, I don't normally pay that much attention to what the data says, more so than I know that it injects that volatility. And since we just kind of ran both sides and stopped, I don't love that. Midnight's price was 21,857 even, it looks like. We're going to go ahead and mark midnight on chart here. Let's make this bad boy purple. I like midnight to be purple. Helps me when I quickly glance at my chart to know what I'm looking at. Once you start adding stuff to it, it can get overwhelming. So this is that 15-minute chart. You can see we just stomped higher, stomped lower. Didn't pick a real direction. Didn't pick a real direction. We are headed lower. Are we going to go down to equilibrium of the goldback range here? Fridays can be a choppy mess. They can also trade usually the opposite of the rest of the week. I mean, if we're looking at what the daily chart looks like, you know, we basically did the exact same thing as last week. Came up, down, started the week out. So think about this weekly candle. Down, up. We haven't even taken out previous week's highs yet. We're just kind of stuck in this choppy mess of a range. I expect next week to be more of a breakout week to the upside. That's just kind of my initial thoughts right now. It's not gospel by any means. But that's what I'd like to see happen next week, is a bullish market. Run the highs, new all-time highs. Of course, you never know with the president we have and Elon tweeting on a regular basis. I mean, the market can do anything. So you got to stay fluid. Got to keep an open mind. Try to be flexible in your bias. You marry a bias, that gets you in trouble big time. So the NFP print is in, and it's a monster, but not a good one. No real opportunity there. I still think we'll go for these highs. We're so close to them. See how we trade the next seconds or so. If we create an inefficiency and trade back into it, I might be interested in a long to those previous week highs. I like that we consolidated, painted, and clustered this area. But I would need to see more movement. We completely went to pull open this. kind of the midpoint. Previous session. You see this midpoint here? When your eyes are drawn to this, just kind of a break in price action. And when they do that the day before NFP, that's usually the indication of where it's going to stop. I mean, I've seen that so many times. You look at that, it's to the tick. It's almost perfect. $30 seconds not really showing any real opportunity. May come down and take out these lows one more time before moving up. And we might not. We might move lower. Have to be patient. I feel like seeing the wicks on the bottom are a good sign for my theory. There's nothing really to get excited about. See, I'm going to switch between time frames, see if I can see anything. All right, I'm going to start a starter here. I'll be targeting the previous week highs. Moment it's just a micro, but I'll add into the position if I feel like I'm making headway. Bring my stop up here. I don't want to risk that much. Just a starter. One micro. And I'll pyramid into the position if I feel like I'm getting what I want. I like that we are kind of creating failure swings here. Previous week high is not far away, and if we move through this 243 extension dealing range, we're moving into the next dealing range. Spiked, but we didn't have any follow through there. See if we get the follow through. I'm going to see us clear this high, then I'll add to the position and reduce risk at the same time. Right now I'm risking $99. Gotta see us clear this. Got to see us clear it. All right, I'm adding, I'm reducing. So we're now in for 2 micros. Take a third here, reduce the risk. And I'm going to sell into the push up. I like the push. I like the push through the high. Make sure we get the follow through we're looking for. This volatility can get crazy quick. You got to keep your finger on the trigger if you're going to trade in a fast market like this. I'm going to peel one off here. Peel one off here. If we get to it. If we push hard, I might just hold and just reduce risk. It's all, this part of it, it's hard to teach when it comes to trading. You know, you just kind of get into the flow of the chart and get used to its movement and what you're seeing. You know, we have a clear path to liquidity there. Target. It always, you know, it wants to take out old highs. It wants to rebalance inefficiencies. And that's what ICT teaches. My biggest issue is that we're in the top of the 243 dealing range. And you'd need to see us break into the next higher partition. And this could be the high of the dealing range for the week. This could be the end at the 243 and the 729 both line up perfectly for those of you that know gold back or do any gold back trading. They line up great. So considering we've only spiked through it and haven't actually really pushed into the next range, it's kind of the opposing confluence for not going higher. So you've got to keep that into perspective. So far, I like the price action. Continuing to build, continuing to push higher. Gonna reduce risk. Now only risking 100 to make 650. Good RR. Now we could get a pullback into this inefficiency. This is very inefficient pricing. I wouldn't like to see it trade below that inefficiency. The candle that created that fair value gap. And sometimes these things just wait for the open to push. I mean, I just feel like there's a little bit of momentum behind it. Just kind of have that feeling. Yeah, and that's, you still have to pay attention to order flow and listen to what it's telling you, as opposed to imposing your will on it. I want it to go up there. Doesn't mean it has to. Doesn't mean it will. Just seems like a likely draw for me. And I watch order flow to make sure that it's continuing to show me that the willingness to do the thing that I have a bias towards. See how we respect the midpoint of this inefficiency. It's going to be a tell. Five-minute, kind of have a breaker forming here. This last down close candle, you could call it an order block, kind of forms a breaker. So you want to see that support price happens to be the midpoint of that gap. That newsprint was ugly, wasn't it? Not what I like to see. I like to see a one-sided rip and then have it head the other way. That's what I like to see. When it whipsaws back and forth in two directions like that, it tends to make it more unclear, or make it kind of an early indication that we're just going to end up with a choppy Friday, which is very possible. Like to see a push now. We're kind of at the midpoint of that gap. My stop might be just a bit too tight. That's midnight's open. We just gotta be patient. Market will do what it does. It's 17 seconds left on this candle. To the 30-second candles. I like to watch them for refinement purposes. Now we've painted almost all the way through the inefficiency. Look at it on a 1 minute. Painted through it. Nope. Came all the way down. Almost kissed my stop loss, didn't it? And now she's turning around. See if we get any kind of force behind the move. Willingness to show us it's going to go higher. It's kind of a classic fair value gap entry. We're approaching 9 o'clock. I'd like to see us get to the previous week's high by 9:30 by market open. In a perfect world, that would set up nicely for more of a TGI Friday kind of setup, trading back 20% of the range. But who knows? I mean, we've been kind of repeating the same price action for a few weeks now, with slight variances to it, and certainly no guarantees as to what price will do. So today I'm planning to just keep an extremely open mind, see what we get. We could just base around this midnight price now till 9:30. You know, the fair value opening. Which would definitely make sense as well. I was hoping for a bigger push. We don't seem to be getting it. Look like we've kind of formed that swing low. But the market is just kind of anemic now. See if we can get any momentum behind the turnaround, or if we're just going to stay in place. See if we can even get through the high of the dealing range. That is the question, isn't it? Have no crystal ball. Just trade what I see. Clustering around this midnight price. See if I can make these darker. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Ooh, that's my fault. I didn't put the googly eyes. Didn't put the googly eyes. Might have jinxed myself with that one. I don't like the wicks on the top of that. It's showing me that price is being kind of held in this range. It's not being allowed to move further. Need to see it break through those wicks. NFP Friday. NFP Friday. It's a tough one. It's always a tough one. Be very careful on a Friday. My experience, especially if it's NFP Friday. Oh yeah. Kind of boring, as trading should be. Everyone's kind of paused and waiting for the volatility to come in. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. There's been some pretty decent moves in the last couple of months. That been some days that have just been fun, you know, exciting. Some days that have just been bore fest. A lot of grindy days. A lot of uncertain price action. You know, things become a lot clearer if you utilize Hoppy's Goldback mixed with ICT's concepts. I mean, you can blend those two together and create a really good framework. Doesn't take care of every part of the trading, but it's a good framework for having an idea on what to base trades around, really. So far, I'm still okay with this trade. I'm not seeing anything that I hate or reason to bail at the moment. It seems to be going in my direction. It seems to be respecting bullish PD arrays at the moment. So order flow to me is still bullish, still heading in the right direction, of course, overall. I'm not seeing the displacement that we started the move with that I would love to see. Any trader wants it to go run straight to their target, you know, no questions asked, but that's not the reality of trading. Sometimes you just have to accept your risk, sit on your hands, and be patient. I'm very conservative, so I tend to get out of trades if I don't like the way they look quickly. I don't like to hold losers. I'd rather be able to take more of them and get in on the right side of the move by saving up my bullets for the day. I have a set amount I'm willing to lose, and if I hit that, then through Top Steps program here, I am locked out and can't touch it until the following day. So as long as I maintain under that, I'm kind of free to trade. And if I hit a nice trade, then I'll lock myself out and keep the profit for the day. So what's interesting is that price, 21,848. Right here. I think it's 21,848. Let me got another chart above me here. Let me get a little more clarity on that price. That was 21,847.25. And that was 830's price. I always keep midnight and 8:30 as reference points of my chart. Oftentimes, the 8:30 a.m. price will be referred back to. It's not uncommon. As traders, our job is to look for things that are repeatable, things that are tradable because they're repeatable. Time is a big play in how this market prints. It will refer back to specific prices at specific times. You know, there's some people out there that claim that, you know, it does the same things at exactly the same times. That's not the case for me. But there are certain times that are key. 8:30 a.m., midnight, 10 a.m.'s price. These are all key price points. So moving into the next partition, this would be the low of the next partition if we plan to continue higher through this one in the dealing range. And if we do, then we could see as high as equilibrium of that dealing range. In my experience, the 243, which would put us at about 21,991.75. I'll mark that out. We will mark that out. And if we push through this, I may have a final target up there, but that would be a hold for the day. So we'll see. $9:03. 30 minutes to open and bell here. See what the DXY is looking like. The DXY is definitely coming down. DXY already took out the previous day's lows. I could see it make a run for the previous day's highs. Which would fall in line with, you know, Friday trading back down into the weekly range. I just really think that if it's going to trade back down into the range, we take out these highs first. So this level is the key level for me. Probably will go ahead and exit the trade at that level, but if we blast through that with any kind of force, then I may hold a runner for equilibrium of another 30 points there. 30 points to the gold back level. It's not a stretch, considering that would be previous week highs would put us close to the maximum kind of daily 200 point ish range. So I could see us actually making it to that equilibrium and kind of completing that 240 point daily range. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, 100% I could see that. Now the question is, will we attack sell side liquidity first, or did this candle do enough damage? We really don't need to trade back down to equilibrium, and it almost doesn't make sense to do that. So I'm still feeling pretty good about my decision. Price action's a bit messy. Maybe these, should they be lighter or darker? Let's try a little darker. Kind of like the gray and black. Let's try a different color today. I have it before. I think I had them green. I think I had them green. Green is green for money. Kind of stalled out here, haven't we? Kind of just stalled out. Kind of just stalled out. See if we can utilize this as a breaker. There's your high, there's your low, there's your higher high with the fair value gap. Breaker plus a fair value gap is known as a unicorn in some circles. This is a unicorn kind of entry. I'll add one there. A total of 4. This could be a one and done trade if it's successful. Doesn't mean I won't sit tape read with you. Switch to a practice. Let's get that push through the extension line. We're at previous day's highs now, sitting on previous day's highs. Both ES and NASDAQ. Go make a run for these previous week highs. The previous week highs we are live. Just watching the trade. Just watching. Got my googly eyes on the previous week highs. That's my target, really. This is the extension, or the, not the extension, the equilibrium of the next higher dealing range, gold back dealing range. We are still kind of in between. This is what I call no man's land here. This is in between the high of the previous dealing range, and then the allowed extension that typically price goes through a discovery phase before it either goes lower back down into the dealing range or goes higher into the next one. Once the algo kicks in, after we chop around in this range long enough, then you'll start to see more clear price movement in a direction depending on which direction it picks. So this is kind of that no man's land. My confluence really, like I said, is previous week high. I don't see why we wouldn't take it. We're so close to it. Just seems like low-hanging fruit for the market to want to take today. Whether it does it while I'm in this trade or does it some other time after it takes me out of the trade is another question. $9.12, the market could just be waiting for 9:30 open. I have my final target set up there at the equilibrium, but I will sell into highs as we go through them. I will sell into them. Haven't really moved far enough yet. I want to see us get to through here, and I'll peel some off and then get through the high of the news print. I'll peel some off, let the rest run. That'll make me basically risk-free for the remainder of the trade. This is the part of trading that's boring. Get all hyped up and take a trade, do your analysis, then you have to sit and wait. You just have to wait. We're still showing a willingness to want to push higher, keep wicking the bottoms. Not doing it very quickly, but price actions was telling me at the moment. Well, 18 minutes to open. Get resituated here. Hope everybody's doing well today. NFP Friday. Woohoo! Was a big double-sided nothing burger, as I like to call it. Just slap both sides of the market. Now we're getting a push. We take a look at just a 30-minute chart. There's not much to the left. Go to a 4-hour. We've painted through this liquidity void, and we've kind of held the upside of that nicely. So then you have still all of this inefficiency. Now, do you notice that this gold-black equilibrium of the next dealing range lines up perfectly with the rest of this CIBI here, this sell side imbalance? It makes sense. It makes sense that we would repaint that today. You have to look for your draw on liquidity. We're not that far away from it. It is a daily range. I could see us 100% going up to here, painting that, and then headed back down for the remainder of the afternoon to complete the daily candle and the wick on the other side of the daily candle. That doesn't mean that it has to, but that's just why I'm confident and or seeing it the way I'm seeing it. It doesn't have to do anything, and it can absolutely just come right back down to my entry and slap everything. That happens. Risk management is where you're gonna survive in this game, being able to manage that. drawdown period when it comes back down to your entry. Reading price action, some time and experience in the markets will allow you to hold through some periods. I know when I first started trading, anytime I'd see downward movement, I'd be wanting to get out immediately, and then it would just run right to my target. You know, and you have to sit through those. You have to accept your risk, obviously reducing it at all times. Any chance you get to reduce it, you find a new spot to reduce it to. It's just a smart way to be, you know. And if you can move your stop into profit and you get stopped out, then what's the worst that happened? You made money on a stop out. That's not terrible. It's just, I mean, trading is so much of a mental game that if you don't do those things, you know, price can move so quickly in the wrong direction and it just leaves you stunned. You know? How many times I've watched price just drop thousands of dollars back to my entry. Fabio, what's up, my man? Coming back from Italy. Hope you had a great work shift yesterday. I think you said you were headed to work. Glad to have you back. Not much with the NFP print, huh, man? You really just swipe both sides. I'd like to see us move out of this 243 up to equilibrium today of the next 243. We're also at the high of the 729 dealing range, so we'd be starting a whole new weekly partition, which makes sense. End of the week. Again, there's a hard case to be built for it to at least run previous week highs today. And judging by the price action at market open. We are in this with 4 micros, planning to sell in at these levels. Pay the trader on the way up. Reduce risk. And just be real careful on a Friday. Fridays are not my best day. I've had some really monster Fridays. Do I attribute those to being really skilled or getting lucky? And just looking at my history and my data, probably getting lucky. Fridays tells me I need to be careful. Doesn't mean there's not opportunities, but you need to think with almost a scared mindset on a Friday or a Monday. Almost a scared mindset. I mean, don't worry about what other traders say. You trade the way that you trade and always protect your capital. I once blew $25,000 in a single day, just losing my mind. That was a big loss. Big loss. And I'm, for the most part, pretty level-headed, but get caught up in the zone and it happens. So, you know, I don't mean to preach risk management all the time, but I've come to learn from my time on the charts that risk management is really the key. You can learn trade analysis really in a week. Applying it's a different story. 920, get a little bit of a pullback. Wouldn't surprise me. I'd really like to see it rip through this. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it. Just would really like to see it. I feel like my risk to reward in this trade is very good. I like my entry. Probably got it 2 points higher than I wanted it. But just looking at, you know, where I'm sitting, risk to reward. Assuming we hit previous week highs to 4.5. It's a good RR. And that could be a one and done trade for the day. And we can just practice, read price action. 9 minutes to open, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody's trading, tell me what you got going on. Did I take a trade yet today? Just watching, wait for the open. Got about 8 minutes to open. Drop this onto a 1 minute. Feeling confident enough now to reduce risk a little bit. I think what I'll do is take a very quick bathroom break. I'll leave the chart running so you can watch the trade. And I will be right back, guys. Don't leave. All right, we are back. What did we get while I was gone? Anything great? Little slap. A lot of wicks again this morning. Been like that though. You know, market conditions are just tough. Got to get a good position. That's really the key. If you can get a good position, utilizing gold back, utilizing knowledge from ICTs, PD arrays, premium discount, fair value gaps, breakers, order blocks. If you can do that, even in these choppy conditions, you can find some profitability. I mean, you can see it. It's all over Twitter. It's all over. Everybody's talking about how market conditions have been tough. I mean, we've just been painting in a range back and forth. It makes it hard. You're trading a range. There's no real expansion to the market, which, you know, expansion days used to be my hardest day. You get caught in, you get used to the chop, and then when you get an expansion, you keep looking to short the market, and it's just going up. Whew. But I've become more and more flexible with my biases. Also, just more experienced and better at reading price action. And I'm able to capitalize on this trend days pretty well these days. You know, on a good trend day, you can really just kind of jump in and ride the wave, utilizing the closest PD array, assuming the price action continues to remain bullish. Now, I just want you guys to pay attention. Do you see all the candles are starting to print faster? That's usually the algorithm firing up. That's usually kind of that initial signature that we're about to get some movement coming in at 4 minutes until open. Take a quick peek at the DXY. DXY looks poised to just drop. It really does. Everything is in alignment. Then the DXY drops. The indices climb, at least for the current price action. Not always the case. Sometimes they're not in sync. I would not take your trade solely based on that. Utilize it as a confluence. Because I added into my trade, I've averaged up a little bit because I'm scaling into it. Just how I like to do it when I start to see the price action I like. At this moment in time, I'm not willing to add anything to it. In fact, I'm looking for ways to reduce. We've got 3 minutes to the opening bell. What do you guys think is going to happen? Gonna get a big slap at the open? Or is it just gonna burst up? Go straight for those eyes. That's the question. My intuition tells me that we would just blast higher for these previous week highs here. Do some chop back down. Maybe head back up to the equilibrium of this range, and I think that's... I just feel like at 4 o'clock today, that's where we're going to be. That's what I feel like. Put my prediction on the chart. I am recording it, so I'll have it for later. See how close my prediction comes to 4 o'clock's price. Yesterday was amazing. I don't know if you goldback traders saw the perfect delivery to the goldback high before the day closed yesterday. It was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Watching it run right to that line and respect it. So we're up almost 200 bucks in this trade. Nothing crazy. We got a minute to open. We got a minute to open. 20 seconds. I'm going to keep my finger on the trigger. If I start seeing a big drop, I will bail on this trade and wait for more information. Just because of that opening range volatility. We are open. We are getting the drop. But we're still respecting the GB high. Like to see that. Kind of what I was looking for. DXY is definitely bearish. Good sign. All signs point to previous week highs here. Put me at about 824 on the day. NFP Friday. Fast Cash Friday. Let's go. Not trading advice. Purely entertainment. My stream is on a delay, I believe, so just been warned. All right, we are rolling up. I like it. I like it enough to hold. Don't need to peel off. We have a lot of momentum. Our stop is now break even. I like the momentum we're pushing. Here we go. Nice push. Nice spike higher. We're up almost 600 bucks here at the open. Let's get it to run right through those highs. Let's go. Right here live on YouTube. I think I told you I am very conservative. I'm going to peel one off there. Locked in about $200 profit. I'm going to peel another off there. We are up 341. Risk free on the remainder. We're going to go ahead and lock in a little more. I'm going to peel off one more on the next push. Peeled last. Got one left. One left. We've locked in 500 on the day. Let's go. Just waiting for final target. Got to keep a cool head. Got to reduce risk the entire time. That's the trick. This will be my one and done only live trade. I will still hang around and tape read with you guys and switch to a practice account. I will not take another trade on my live account. Let's go. Let's get through these highs. Anybody else get that trade? Get that blast off at 9:30? And I want to see us trade below this. All right, I'm peeling the last one off. Good enough. 600 bucks. $600. Multiple funded accounts. Let's watch as it blasts right through the final target. Totally fine with that. There's no FOMO there. I didn't miss out. I made an executive decision based on what I was seeing, and I'm okay with that. And I profited. But it is fun to watch. Look at the googly eyes. I told you. That's the trick, man. Fabio, you got to get you some googly eyes. That's all it took. That's all it took. Just the googly eyes. Yep. 600 profit. Across multiple funded accounts, copy traded. That's a good work day as far as I'm concerned. You know, greed is the killer of trading. And I see guys out here popping 10, 15, 20,000 a trade, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm not at that level yet. I hope to be at that level. But your trading habits start when you can trade small with that same type of protect your capital mentality, especially on a Friday, especially on an NFP newsprint. I mean, we nailed it. Target hit. Beautiful. Isn't there there's a bullseye in TradingView, isn't there? Anyone know where that is or how to find it? The bullseye. Where's the target hit symbol? Where's the target hit symbol? Doesn't matter. Here, we'll just put some text on there. So I am recording. Bingo bongo. It was the googly eyes, 100%. Reminds me of that song. I always feel like somebody's watching me. That's why I trade. Singing didn't work out for me. Love to see it. Love to see it. Beautiful delivery. So at this point, in the price action, this is where my analysis became more uncertain. We've rocketed into the next dealing range, but that doesn't mean, and this is just my experience, if anybody's got any gold back knowledge, feel free to chime in. Absolutely chime in on the stream. I have no qualms about listening to new ideas because I'm learning just like anybody else. But in my experience, gold back levels, once we move into the next dealing range, that doesn't mean that we're going to run all the way through the next dealing range. It just means that we're operating inside of it. Its willingness to stay within this GB high, which is the GB low of the next partition of both the 729 and the 243. If it stays above this no man's land area, then next week we can look for PD arrays and utilize the levels effectively throughout the week. If we trade back down, the market will sometimes come back down and go through it. I mean, these are not hard numbers that it has to 100% stop dead at and respect. They are key levels that the algorithm will seek out in order to know what to print next. Oftentimes you will see it stop very close to it within a fraction of a point or so. Whether or not the price is actually printed dead on in the algorithm in the computer system, probably. Whether or not that shows up in a candlestick, you know, there may be a time delay in the billionth of a millisecond that it takes to print that inside of the algorithm. I don't know. I don't know how that part of it works. What I do know is frame your draw on liquidity, base it within the range, the average daily range, manage your risk, take profit along the way, lock it in, and call it a day. No Sheen, good morning. She's my trading buddy. She's got some very spot on, very good analysis. If you follow her on Twitter, I don't know if she posts much of her analysis. I know she publishes a lot of TradingView charts, but fantastic at analysis on this gold back. We have a very similar journey. Go on Twitter and follow her. And of course, she called previous week high being hit yesterday. And we nailed it. Hopefully you took that, Nosheen. I bailed a little early. I did. I'll admit it. But I am risk averse on a Friday, on an NFP Friday. I want to take reasonable, solid trades. I want to lock in profit and feel good about it. I don't want to sulk all weekend long after giving it all back and or ending on a red day on a Friday. I just don't want to do that. Then you got to deal with waiting for the market to open all weekend long. And then I know something else that does to me is I'm anxious for the market to open on Sunday at 6 p.m. if I've ended Friday on a losing day. So I'll often take a bad trade come market open Sunday, oversized, and just start the week off red. So if you end Friday green, then it gives you that confidence to just wait for Monday's price delivery to start the way that it should. I've had some pretty good moves in after hours trading. For a while there, we were getting really big moves overnight. I was doing pretty well. And at some point, playing too confidently, taking the trade, going to sleep, and not being there to manage it, it burned me. It did. And there were several nights that I woke up to locked out for the next day and missed out on huge, big, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 days that I could have had easily. Because there are times when you just see it in the market. You know what I'm talking about. You traded. You see it clear as day. This is what's going to happen next. And you have all that confidence. And those are the moments when you really scale in larger size. I still don't recommend starting with larger size. My method that I've been using lately, which a lot of you, if you've been in my streams, you see me do it. But I start out with 1 micro, just 1. I keep my risk really tight on that 1. Because if I'm wrong, and it goes and smacks my stop out immediately, then I've taken such a small loss on that 1 trade. I still have plenty of bullets for the day. And it really minimizes your losses that way. Now I'll take that 1 and then I'll scale in. As the market starts showing me that I'm correct, the order flow continues to show either bullish or bearish order flow, then I'll scale into it, and as you just watched me do, I'll scale out of it, and I'll scale out of it before my final targets hit, if I just feel like that's the right move for the moment. Now mine, I scaled out of it here, and I lost 30 points in that move, but it was 1 micro, so it was $60 that I gave up the ghost on, just in case we reversed straight back down, which happens when you've been doing this long enough. You get slapped enough times. So I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know Nosheen's level, skill level. I don't know yours, Fabio or anybody else that's in here. I don't see the names of everyone in here. But if you're in here, tell me what did you trade this morning? Make money or lose money? It kind of seems to have fizzled out a little bit from that, huh? Not a lot of action now. Still think we could touch that equilibrium. You guys got any predictions? Do we? Okay. Gotcha, Fabio. Excellent. Smart move. Yeah, I mean, if you watch ICT's live executions. Now, when you see his live executions, they look like this, right? He stretches his 30-second chart out so far, you know, because that's what he trades off, a 15-second, 30-second. And you're like, man, this guy's capitalizing on a monster, and he's getting like 30 and 40 points. You know, sometimes higher, but you're good, man. You're good, Fabio. But the reality is he's taking small chunks. And love the guy or hate the guy, you know, he does know what he's talking about. If it wasn't for his concepts, I would be clueless as to this market. If it wasn't for his concepts, Hoppy wouldn't have been able to decipher, you know, the clues that he left in his logo and etc. As far as dealing range power 3 calculations. I mean, that's what makes all this possible. So you gotta give the man credit. He knows what he's talking about. Whether or not he can handle his emotions when he's trading, I don't know. You know, I don't care. That's his personal business. It's not mine. If his concepts and teaching work for me and I can make money off of them and I can make sense out of them, then that's fine with me. You know, I don't listen to him as much as I used to. I've kind of gotten what I can get from him. I'll tune in for his Shotgun Saturdays or rewatch a video here and there to refresh my memory on some of his concepts because he's got so many of them. But overanalyzing the charts has definitely led me to paralysis many times. And it also leads me to take bad trades just based on PD arrays instead of the overall context. Is when I zoomed out, you know, I'm on a 30-second chart because I think it makes price action more interesting to watch. But when I do my analysis, you know, I start on the weekly, work my way to the daily, through the 4-hour, taking out this 4-hour high. We still have the rest of that inefficiency here, the CIBI, which lines up perfectly with the equilibrium of the 243 dealing range. So that's why I think that's the highest we go if we get there today. And that's if. I'm not saying we are going to get there. It's a prediction. It's not gospel. I feel like those two lining up together makes sense for us to want to go there and take that. But it's Friday, and where have we been going all week? All week long. We traded down, created the wick, we traded up. Now what's missing? The other side of the wick. Now where would it make sense to make the other side of the wick? Well, 20% of the range, which guess what? Falls right in line with the EQ of the lower partition of the secondary 243 that we'd been trading in all week. If we're going to stay in this same consolidation pattern that we've been in, the market is kind of turning around as a whole. With all the uncertainty, you never know. So that's just kind of how I look at price overall. I try not to get too sold on anybody's one idea, kind of blend all of them together, mixed with my own style. I still get FOMO, still overtrade. I'm trying to work on those things to make myself a better trader. On days like today, where I spend the time ahead of time on the charts, do an analysis, pick an entry that makes sense based on what the market's giving me, and pick an exit that makes sense based on what the market should do for the day, so draw on liquidity, and execute on that while conserving risks all the way up. Those are the days that I do the best. When I just sit at the chart and kind of don't know what's going on and just click buttons, then I start chasing. Nice Noshin. Got it after the stop run at 849. Okay. All right, so we got in basically at about the same price. My entry was originally lower. It was originally here, I believe, right around 853, but because I scaled in, it moves your average price up. So I started out with 1 micro about exact. Actually, I think my initial entry was right at midnight, which is 21,857. And I call that a great trade. I mean, that's a great trade. You know, what more do you need? That's the thing, is I decided to do this live streaming because I want to be part of a community, you know, get like-minded gold-backed ICT traders together. Gotcha, Noshin. Gotcha. Appreciate you watching. Glad to have you here. I just wanted to just create a group of people to learn and grow together. I mean, you know, there are influencers out there that either they hold back the information that's key to how they trade, or they want to sell it to you. And I don't really want to do that. I just want to help use the knowledge that I've gained to help other people get better. My whole goal in trading was financial freedom. You know, I don't like having to work for people and make them rich while I'm, you know, tied to their hours. I want the freedom to be able to have the life that I want. I mean, freedom is what's always drawn me into trading. Of course, when I first got into it, I thought for sure that, oh, all I got to do is click a button and make $500 and I'm done. And 30 seconds later, I'm good for the week. Yeah. Well, we all know that's not a reality of trading. There's a lot of analysis that comes with it. There's a lot of psychology that comes with it. I mean, you could make a lot of money and then you can give a lot of it back, which in the end, how much did you make? Right? So that's kind of why the point of the stream is just to build a community, to put our minds together, to grow in this thing, encourage, hopefully learn a little bit of what I've learned. And I mean, just have something entertaining to watch while you're doing whatever it is you're doing, right? Let's be honest, it's fun to watch other traders sometimes. I like it. I go on YouTube and watch the ones that everybody hates just because it's entertainment. I won't say any names, but let's just say that somebody out there is giving my name a bad name. All Patricks aren't bad. So if you're here, feel free to contribute anytime. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this stream. I know it's not a massive stream and it's not getting all the views yet or anything, but you know, this is just the beginning. This is the first week. So feel free to comment if audio is terrible or if visuals are terrible. Now, one thing I don't understand, if any of you have any knowledge on this, OBS will not let me send this video higher than 1080, which is fine, it seems, on, you know, a smaller screen, but when I blow it up on my TV, it's terrible. And I've got the setup to do much higher than that, so I don't know what I'm missing, but it won't. Every time I try to stream at a higher not frame rate, resolution, it tells me that it's not going to let it happen. And so I don't know. Guess that's just something I'll have to learn. I'm learning all this stuff as I go. I am learning all this stuff as I go. Somehow my screen resized. That's strange. Did I do that? Let's see if I can resize that. More of the chart. You don't need to see my buy and sell buttons, or maybe you do. We'll slide down. That's strange. Just decided to resize itself. I think that's good. So we have come back down now to the extension line. What is going on with my stream? Give me a second here. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why. Let me unlock this. Try to fix this. There we go. Apologize for that. It will be back momentarily. Just give it a second here. There we go. Sorry about that. See? Told you. So let's see how we react here if we respect this line. Or not. We move down lower. Should fall in line with that whole Friday, take previous week high, trade back down to the range. And we have pretty good displacement lower. Could just kind of grind in this area for a while too. We could just grind lower. Definitely have to see. Oh, oh, what? What? The 10 a.m. news dumped it. Wow. Check that out. Incredible. Look at that. Glad to not be in a trade, huh? That was the preliminary UOM consumer sentiment. It's orange folder news. Orange folder news moved the market bigger than the NFP release. Look at that. Right down and took it out. Incredible. Oh man, Fabio, are you still in the trade? Man, I feel for you if you were. I did not expect that slap from a orange folder news, especially not the consumer sentiment, although that is kind of the report that can influence the Fed rate cut market sentiment decision. It's all manipulation. Sellers didn't just get that news and decide to sell every position they had all of a sudden, slap it down to here, and now they're buying it all back up. I mean, that's just not how it works. Oh, thank God. Thank God, Fabio. Yeah, that would have been atrocious. But I mean, you know, look at the daily profile. We trade up, we take out previous week highs, which is the high time frame objective, and now we head lower to make the rest of the wick in the weekly range. I mean, it's not rocket science. You know, it becomes predictable when you put it into that broader context of things. It gets harder when you overanalyze every minute movement. Now we've got, you know, these lows, the lows I had marked out yesterday. These are all liquidity lows that we could go ahead and take out now. That's some great momentum down. If anybody's shorted from the previous week high, I mean, that was a great move down. Yes, sir. If I hadn't already made money on my previous trade, as soon as we pulled back on this, I would have dropped, or I would have taken the short. I like to jump in on momentum trades. I do. Momentum trades are real quick. You got to be careful. I have experience doing them. I like to jump in them and jump right out of them. But you cannot hold them. You got to get in and out and take a piece of the pie if you're going to do that. And of course, low risk. Low risk. We're up over 650. I wonder if there was any presidential tweets or anything. Anybody following that? I don't remember what his U.S. president's Truth Social, I think, where he tweets everything. I don't know if anybody follows that, but I need to get in on that. So the dollar slapped at the same time. The dollar dropped at the same time as the indices. The ES is coming down, but the ES hasn't even taken the low of the news candle yet. NASDAQ clearly run to equilibrium of the next lower partition in the dealing range, and we are cruising. Yeah. Yep. That's right, Machine. That's what that index tells you, is if things aren't working properly, then if that report doesn't come out well, then that's the indicator for potential increase in inflation, which is kind of the buzzword, the key word in these markets these days. All right, Fabio. Yeah, man, I'll be on Monday. Good to see you. Have a great weekend. Question is, what will we do next? I feel like equilibrium was kind of my lower target if I had been wanting to trade that. What I didn't like, and the one thing about this setup that would have made me more confident in it, is we created this high. We did take out the previous week high. We just mohawked it. It was barely a tick. And then we traded down, but we didn't get the normal stop run that you would see. I wanted to see a stop run before we dropped. Since we didn't get the stop run, I didn't feel confident or see that coming clearly. I mean, that's just how it goes. And if you don't see it clearly, don't take it. I'm not taking any more live trades today. I'm good with my winnings for Friday and FP release. I am sweating like crazy for some reason. Getting hot up here. Let's see what we do next. Are we just gonna kind of churn around for the remainder of the day? Just kind of back and forth. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get a little more indication. I mean, they really did utilize that orange folder news release to churn out a range higher than the NFP release. It's almost like they delayed it and waited for that next moment. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm always considering that they're not going to do what you expect them to do because they don't want it to be easy. So we trade lower from 930. Technically, this would be considered lower price movement. Up, down, create the wick. So with that theory in mind, you know, we could see a run back up towards the pullback range high and get a meltdown this afternoon. Sometimes 1230 is that key number for the meltdown. I could see us trading back up, take out the inefficiency from this particular news release, which would put us right at the extension. You notice how that happened right there at the extension line too. And then, of course, we come right down to another pullback level. Can't make it up. You can't make it up. I see us trading back up into that inefficiency. I see us potentially chopping around through the lunch hour. Like I said, 1230 seems to be a key time. I could see us dropping right around 1230. These are just thoughts going through my head right now. They mean nothing. Don't take a trade based on any of that, please. Just thinking out loud for entertainment purposes. I am going to take a quick bathroom break. So I will be back in just a moment. Just stick around. I am back. Thanks for your patience when nature calls. It looks like we've traded lower. We've passed the EQ of the pullback range. I mean, that to me is, you know, we're taking out the targets that I marked yesterday, the swing lows. That's all it is. Nothing fancy. Taking out the liquidity. The liquidity. Last bit of liquidity there. It's kind of the move I was looking for yesterday, to be honest. Looking for it to head down there and take those, even though it was against my initial bias, which was bullish yesterday, and I said it live on stream several times that I was bullish. I did end up catching a short yesterday after the stream ended. The trade that I took during stream ended in a very, very small win, like $50 or something. It definitely came back to my entry. I got out of it just beforehand, so nothing there. And then I took a loss after that in the middle of the day. I tried to stab, and then I caught the short yesterday afternoon, around 2 o'clock, this short right here. But I was looking for it to retrace deeper. It didn't. And as soon as we pulled back up and then dropped back down again, I went ahead and took profit right about in there. So I caught this move yesterday. Man, that was a good move right there. The ES did kind of give early indications of that move. I wasn't paying as close attention to the ES as I should have been. Probably would have caught that nicely. It's at the low of its dealing range, so I don't expect much more from the markets today. I really don't. ES. Pull up the ES chart. The ES gave us a little bit more of what I was looking for. So we came up and we took out the previous high, previous day high, and then we got that early indicator, that first drop down, taking out the short-term low. Huh. Wonder what's going on here. I feel like my stream froze. The stream is quite delayed. Quite delayed. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's any settings that I can change to make that better. I'm not 100% sure why it's so delayed. Let's try dropping down the bit rate. Let's get a little bit all right, so I'm going to try adjusting the bit rate. I think I'm just a little too high on the bit rate of the stream. Again, I'm learning. I apologize for the issues that I'm having today. Hopefully that brings it back up to speed. Let's see. See if I can refresh. Yeah, if anybody is very versed in the streaming, it's Let me know. It says it's not receiving enough video. That's so strange. It's definitely delayed, and hopefully it's hopefully it gets caught up a little bit here, guys. So you might try refreshing stream, see if that fixes things. I'm not sure why it's so far behind the delay. Trying to adjust it on my end. I definitely dropped down the bit rate on the stream. I see now. So it just kind of is what it is for today's stream, and I apologize. There's a setting in YouTube that needs to be adjusted in order for it to be fixed. Yeah, as Noshin pointed out, there is a flat top right here on that. Those flat tops tend to want to be repriced too. They definitely want to be repriced too if you were looking for an opportunity today. You know, I'm on the ES right now. This is the ES. You got that flat top here. Needs to be repriced too. Throw it on a 30-minute chart. See, there's no wick on that candle. Always pay attention to that. That is extremely inefficient price delivering. Just a candle with no wick. Not efficient. Not how candles print. We're going to switch back to the micro NAS. Tiny little wick on the NAS on that newsprint. Not much though on either one of these. So I could absolutely see us trade higher. We've traded down to the equilibrium of the 243 dealing range, gold back price delivery, and we're probably going to chop in this area. It's a choppy point. I do apologize about the extreme delay in this stream. Wasn't like that the other day. It's just going to be some stuff I'm going to have to do some research on this weekend. Why it kicked into gear. The computer I'm running it on is absolutely capable. It is a Studio Edition laptop running an RTX 4070 GPU, and it's powered by an AMD processor with 64 gigs of RAM, I believe. So no problems there. If I have to, I'll switch to my desktop if that solves that part. My desktop is a little bit older, but it's a desktop, and it's very powerful too. So we'll see. But I like my desktop powering. My got a 48-inch OLED TV hung on the wall right behind my desk here that helps keep the ES and the NASDAQ up there with the indicators that I use to try to mark as much of the key levels that I'm paying attention to on this chart. This is Top Step X's platform, so it is a trading view chart, but it's not the full trading view. You can't just put all of your stuff on it. Today's stream will probably run till, I don't know, we'll see how it looks at 11. We have some stuff I want to get done today. And we started an hour early, so I feel like I get an hour reprieve. And I'll most likely turn the charts off for the day. I took my one trade. I'm happy and confident that that's enough for the day. I'm not going to give it back before the weekend, so my one trade on the fundeds are all linked together. That puts me in a good position to end the week nice and green. On the road to getting paid again. Took a nice $5,000 payout a couple weeks ago from Top Step. You know, I don't try to promote anybody, or I'm not looking to promote anybody necessarily, but I've had really good experience with Top Step. I find their program to be the most likely to succeed overall in the prop fund space if you're a prop trader, whether you're trading your live funds or prop account. Makes total sense for me to trade their money with low risk. I mean, if you know how to trade, Top Step's rules are pretty good. You know, once you're in funded accounts, they don't have consistency rules. You can have 5 accounts funded at the same time. You can take a $5,000 payout per withdrawal from them. So I just find those rules to be very enticing. I've seen some of the other influencer traders using some other companies that I would just stay very far away from personally. I won't name anybody negatively on the stream, but I've had bad experiences with some of them. And the one that I have never had a bad experience with, that has been around for a very long time, has been Top Step. And I mean, I like their platform. The Top Step X is a very easy to use platform. I don't love that it takes up so much of the screen, but you know, for me, like sometimes when I was working my full-time job, I was trading off of my phone or my iPad. It's got a nice mobile interface, not the greatest because there's a lot of extra screen real estate taken up with tools and that sort of thing. I have it kind of blown in, and you can see like this section, there's a whole another section over here. Same for the other side that you can't see. So it takes up some of your screen real estate. If you're operating off of an iPad, trying to do your analysis and take a trade, that can be frustrating to not have as much of the screen. But what I would do oftentimes is I would have Top Step running on my phone, their Top Step X platform, and then I would run Trading Views charts, which I find their mobile charts to be great on my iPad. And I was working an office job where I could keep an eye on it after I had to do my pre-market analysis before I went into work and do that. So I think that worked out pretty okay, just to take the trade off the phone. All I need to do is really click a button, have preset brackets in place. I don't trade without brackets. Not gonna happen. Anybody that does is, let's just say you're braver than I am. I'm not trading without a stop loss ever. Especially the NASDAQ. NASDAQ moves so quick. God, it took me like a year before I would even get into the NASDAQ. I would just trade ES, which I think ES is better if you're newer to the indices markets. They move in correlation most of the time, so moves are much less pronounced and the points are smaller, even though the ES points are worth more at $50 a point versus the NASDAQ at $20. But it doesn't move through as many points as quickly. So you could focus on smaller base hit moves that aren't ripping through your trade. Now, when I made the switch over to NASDAQ, because I like how quick it moves and I've gotten more in sync and accustomed to the way these markets move, then you can make your money quickly in NASDAQ if you know what you're doing. So if you're newer, I'd learn the ES, and I'd really stick to one market until you feel like you're so comfortable with it. Just kind of know what the next move is, you know, and you'll get that way. You'll get so comfortable with watching the price action that you'll make decisions based on your instincts, based on your time with the charts. And then once you get really comfortable, then you can make the move over to NASDAQ, and now you've got two markets that you can switch between, because you don't forget what you learned about the ES. You just have to adjust your sizing. Believe it or not, on the ES, because of how slow it moves, I was trading 1 mini. And on the NASDAQ, I mean, hats off to you if your account's big enough to trade the minis, but micros are where it's at. You can scale in and out of a micro account. TopStepX doesn't charge commissions. So even though you pay technically higher fees for having more micros, 20 micros, I feel more comfortable trading 20 micros versus 2 minis and being able to scale out, take profit all the way up towards my profit target. I mean, it just makes sense, right? It gives you a lot more flexibility. When I started scaling in and out of these positions is when things really turned around for me. Because I would be right often as far as where the market was headed. But in order to make enough money to be satisfied, I would go in with too large a size and have to hold. And when it would hit my loss, I'd be done for the day. And of course, that would lead to me revenge trading and so forth. You guys have all been there, I'm sure. Some of you probably are there now. So my suggestion really is to do the micros and scale in and out of your positions. I mean, you're going to do ultimately what works for you, and I can't tell you what's going to work for you. It's going to be completely up to you. But that's what works for me. All right, so I'm going to switch over to a practice account here. Now, I like this. I like that we've taken the liquidity from both of those lower, and that we've now formed kind of that reversal pattern. Get a swing low that took liquidity, and then an intermediate term low on either side of the longer term low. So I like that pattern for an entry. I also like that we've done a nice coil over. Now this isn't a true fair value gap because the wicks overlap, but at the same time wicks are inefficiency. So when you have two wicks overlapping, you have an inefficiency that we traded back into. But just for science and only on a practice account, I'll take a position with a micro, aiming for midnight, which is the low hanging fruit. I would absolutely reduce my risk. And now that we're pushing, I'll add into it. Switch to a 30-second. We've cleared these highs. We push through these highs. I'll add one more. Reducing risk. This is only on a practice account. Only practice. I like that. I'll add. Unfortunately, that did move my average price up kind of high. Doesn't leave a lot of room for the profit on that one. But hey, it's a practice trade. Now you want to manage a practice trade just like you manage a real trade. It's just about muscle memory, you know? And if you're going to click a button like that on practice and it means nothing to you because there's nothing on the line, trust me when I say you will do the same thing with a live, because it doesn't mean anything unless it's real. And if you build that muscle memory up the right way, you'll react the same way when it comes time to make. Yeah, DS, TopStep doesn't charge commissions on their TopStep X platform, man. So if you're a scalper, or you like a scalping type model, you know, you don't get crushed on commissions if you're a prop trader. And their rules, they've pretty much eliminated all of their rules. I mean, you need to have 50% consistency to pass the evals 2 days. You know, you can do that if you want to trade that way. I mean, I usually, when I take one of their evals, I'll pass it 2 days. I'll aim for 1,500 a day. I don't know why, but I'm very good at passing their evals. Does that mean I pass all of them? No. I mean, they're kind of throwaways to me. I think that might be the wrong way to approach those. I mean, I think you should probably approach them like you were really trading, you know, very conservatively. But you get through that, and then they don't have any rules on the Express XFA accounts. I mean, you can make $30,000 in a day, and there's no consistency problem there, as long as you get to 5 days. Yes, I use 50K account sizes, which can be a little bit challenging because I feel like, so in the terms of prop space, so let's say you buy a 50K account. The eval is $50. Once you pass the eval, you pay another $150, and you're all in for $200 on it. It only gives you $2,000 in drawdown and a profit target of $3,000, which I don't find that to be a problem. You know how to trade, you know, more times than not, you're going to hit that profit target, no problem. So on the larger size accounts, they charge more for them, $100 and I think $150 for the 150K account. Now you get more drawdown, so if you need more space initially because you just need it, then, you know, I guess that makes sense, but you're just in the investment for more money. And ultimately, once you pass the $2,000 initial balance of the drawdown, then you're in just call it a regular account, because you can't let that account run to zero before you lose it. So if you make 20 grand, you're in a $20,000 account. The 50K, the 150K, 75Ks, you know, those are just numbers to throw around. They don't mean anything. What matters is the drawdown. And a 50K account can be traded just like any other account. You just have to do it with small micros. That's it. You just reduce the size until you grow it large enough that you can take larger size trades, and you scale up appropriately. You know, once you get over 5,000 in profit or 10,000 in profit or so, then you can start using more minis or more micros at a time. If you do it the way that I do it, which you scale in and out of these trades, then you'll lock in more profit more often than not. But there's the mental part. You know, I was trading a $30,000 account recently, and my trades were $4,000 and $5,000 winners. It's hard to go back to making $400 or $500 because mentally it's like, that's nothing. You know, I was making $4,000 and $5,000 a trade, but you learn your lesson quickly when you burn yourself chasing that. Exactly, DS. And I find them to be the most straightforward. I mean, they've been around for like 12 years. And have you ever heard a story of them not paying people? I mean, The answer is no, and the answer is no because they actually move traders to live funds. They have it. They have the Top Step TV thing going, which is making them money. They're investing in, X Games participants, all kinds of investments. So I don't feel like they're in any jeopardy of not having the money. And I've never heard of them. Some of those companies out there, they're like, you have to send us a screenshot of your strategy and your trade. I mean, that's crazy. If you're a very mechanical trader and you only trade one setup, okay, that's easy to do. But what if you're like a lot of traders that claim that they're mechanical traders? They're not. They trade based on what they see in price action. They might jump in on a sweep just because it happened. So how do you prove that that's your strategy? I'm not messing with any company that makes me send them screenshots and send a video of how I trade. I don't care how cheap their evals are. If they're not going to pay you, you're just wasting your money. Yeah, exactly, DS. Like I said, I'm not going to call out any negative PR against any firms, names, but you guys know who's doing well in the business and who's not. I mean, I think when the dust settles on all of this, I could see Top Step buying out other firms. I could see that happening. I could see them being the one that's left. And I mean, they actually have a path to live. I mean, if you're a trader, your goal should be trading your own funds. Not all of us have a bunch of capital laying around to risk and trade our own funds, or if we do, why risk your own money? If you can be in an eval for $200 investment and make several $1,000s off of it, I feel like that pays for itself, doesn't it? Not to mention, again, I'm not a tax person. I'm not giving tax advice. I'm not telling you that you can or can't do something, but talk to your tax person. Evals and accounts can be it can be business expenses. Then you're kind of in it risk-free, aren't you? All right, so this trade is not showing the willingness to continue higher. This is practice trade. It is not live. Already made live. My money for live today. You guys saw it here in the stream. And I am sticking with my guns on that. I will not take another trade in my express funded accounts. I made a big mistake recently and got tilted and didn't lock myself out and blew a massive account that I had run up to almost $30,000, actually a little bit over $30,000 in the account, and I blew it in 2 days. Absolutely just got completely tilted and didn't put a lockout in place. Yeah, exactly, DS. So, the capital, the offset with futures trading obviously is better if you're trading your own capital. So there's that. There's also more risk because when you lose, and I've traded live funds, I have live brokerage accounts as well, but I choose not to trade that right now because it doesn't really make sense. Sure, you can withdraw anytime you want to. Sure, there's tax advantages to doing that, but it's also my money at risk. And if I get tilted and I have no rules to save me and I lose a $50,000 of real dollars of mine, that money's gone. And if I'm going to day trade, with risk, knowing what I'm capable of, I want to do it with the least amount of exposure to risk as possible. And right now, prop firms are offering a way to do that. So, yes, sir. Exactly. I mean, I lost an account that I ran up to $30,000, but I didn't lose $30,000. I didn't even lose the $200 that I paid for the account. It was a $50K account, by the way. I ran it up to $30 grand. I didn't lose that. I took a payout from it. I came out $4,800 in the positive. Can't do that if you're live. Now, there will come a time, I feel like, where the prop industry could potentially get taken down. Too many people start making too much money. The government might step in and do something about it. And if that happens, you need to have that account set up if you want to continue trading. You know, so the way I see it, you know, it's a business. Run it as a business. Put profits aside, and if the time ever comes and you need to do it, then you can trade your own funds. And by then you have tons of experience. That's right, DS. How's the Northwest? Was it the Northwest I think you said you were in? How's that treating you today? I don't know if you were on the stream earlier, man, but I definitely caught the aftermath after the NFP. I took my trade from right here from midnight on my live account, and my target was previous week highs, and we nailed it. We definitely nailed it. I scaled into it and scaled out of it slightly early. I didn't like it starting to turn around, and I'm totally happy with that. Ended up with plus 600 on the day with the multiple accounts, and that will be all I'm going to trade on the funded. So this is on a practice account. My confluence is here where we took out, I don't know if you remember yesterday, we took out the two lows. We didn't take out the third low, but we took out these two lows, and then I saw some displacement to the upside, which told me that we could run back up. I'm aiming for midnight. Midnight's always a good, solid trade to go for. The 10 a.m. news printed an inefficiency straight down, and very likely for it to reprice to that inefficiency. I like to take the low-hanging fruit and possibly leave a runner. I scaled into this one with 3 micros. Again, it's just on a practice account, and I'm gonna treat it just like it was a live trade. Yeah, I'm ready for summer, man. I'm not a winter fan at all. Like, it's seasonal depression. I like sunshine. I do. I'm a sunshine child, 100%. I can't wait for the longer days. I like being out on the deck. I like grilling, hanging out by the river, taking the kids, you know, outside, bike riding, all that fun stuff. So I'm very much an outdoors person, and the winter comes and it's really hard to spend much time outside when it's frigid. We're getting some movement here. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel confident enough now that I will reduce risk on this trade. I want to treat this just like it was my live account to build the muscle memory correctly. Switch to a 5-minute. We're getting a push that I like to see. I think there's not really any reason for it to slow down in this area. That doesn't mean it'll run straight to the target, as the market doesn't print that way, but I see it picking up speed. Yeah, I hear you, DS. Yep, exactly. I want to be outside, you know, but I don't want to freeze. I don't like the cold, man. I'm getting older. You see the gray hair. I'm not a young spring chicken like I used to be. But I go, you know, I get out, I do some bike riding. I've got an electric bike I like to get out on, and I live close enough to an area where I can go hang out at a Starbucks, or there's a whole shopping center there, so I can go kind of sit out on the warmer days. And that trade just slapped. Absolutely slapped. See why I reduce risk? So that was just a practice account. No big deal. We definitely now took out those lows. I don't know if there was any particular news in the market or if it's just what it wants to do today. But it's a prime example of, number one, like you said, while you have a stop, and number two, if you make a good trade in the day, keep your profits. If I'd taken that trade on my live account, I just wiped out $182 with my winnings for the day. That doesn't make sense, does it? I am very conservative these days, but just going back to, the weekly profile, just discussing that. I mean, this movement makes total sense. We started the week out, made the lower wick, traded up. Now we're making the other side of the wick. It's following almost identical the pattern from last week, right? We even stopped, dead in its place. The market is just showing a pure unwillingness to go anywhere in a hurry. Oh, is he? Yeah. Sorry, I had a text message. Couldn't find any news. You know what? This is a good opportunity to use the pull up the old browser here. Let's see, would Fox News bring that up? Something about Trump puts a halt on the EV charging station program. I'll try CNN. I don't lean either direction. Not getting political here. It's just sometimes one news source will report something and the other won't. So, breaking news: Americans, including Republicans, now fear higher inflation. That's based on the jobs report, stuff that we already knew. Why is this browser not? Browser is not. It's crashing out on me here. I'm not sure what's up with that. That is strange. I've never seen that before. That was really weird. Okay. How's it going, Bookmap Trader? If you guys like Bookmap, man, go over to his channel and subscribe. He's got Bookmap up all the time. Also got some good psychology insights. Tons of information on his channel. Definitely check that out. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Yeah, we're just kind of doing what a Friday does. My advice to anybody is to be real careful on Fridays, real careful on Mondays. This week doesn't even feel like a normal week, because we've just been trading back and forth through the range, just kind of repeating the same pattern over and over again. And we've been doing it since what, December? Yeah, in December we just started trading within this zigzag price action, not really going anywhere, which I guess was expected. We had the run up before election time, and then the markets just want to hold for election because any tweet can completely change direction of the market. I think we'll start to see some movement out of that range next week. It's just kind of my hunch. No indicator telling me that. There's no real reason to think that, other than we've been in it for a while and I'd like to see us move. Yeah, thanks, Bookman Trader. Appreciate you. Yeah, I took a stop out on a practice account. That's fine. I've already hit one good trade today, and that's all I'm gonna do for live. I feel really good about that. I'm gonna end the Friday on a good green week. So GS, fast stock news on X, huh? I'll check that out. I think this weekend I'm gonna bite the bullet and download the Truth Social, so I can keep an eye on that. I mean, I think for the next 4 years that you're gonna have to keep an eye on that if you're a trader. I think that's really important. I'll be honest, I don't expect much more out of the market today. Even if I hadn't taken a trade already and made what I needed, I probably wouldn't be interested in any more trades today. Friday after 11, I don't have a lot of success. My hit rate is really low. Anytime, and this is true from my own personal experience here, anytime I try to trade in the afternoon on a Friday, after I've traded in the morning on a Friday and made money, anytime that I've tried to take a trade in the afternoon, I've given it back. Yep, almost 100%. Yeah, I agree, Bookman. It's harder when you're streaming to have all the news sources kind of, I've got 48-inch screen here, got my laptop I'm trying to stream from, so I've got to pay attention to the stream, as I've already experienced some technical issues from the newbie. I think I need to update some drivers on this laptop. It's a new laptop, and it's kind of been giving me a little hard time, and I'm not super excited about that. I'm pretty good with computers, but I don't know. I've had some crashes already on it. I've had the screen blackout on it, and I'll be honest, like I'm very surprised, because it's the brand laptop that I always buy. Not a MacBook, it's an Asus. I always buy their gaming laptops when I get a new one, and I've had rock solid, beautiful, amazing experiences with all of them. This one has been giving me trouble, and I just haven't dived into why. Of course, this is also the first time I've tried live streaming and running, multiple programs at the same time. Yeah. All right, Bookman Trader, man. Have a good day. For sure. So guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and call the stream. I've been doing it since about 8:15 this morning. I need to go downstairs and eat and enjoy part of this beautiful Friday. So I really appreciate anybody that came out today and supported it. Really good to see some of you guys returning. I hope to build a community here of like-minded traders. Everybody's welcome. If you can help spread the word that this thing's happening, awesome. I mean, I know how it goes. Everything you watch these days is like and subscribe, but it helps. I'm trying to do this to help educate the community on what I know, and just be a good place to trade. So anything you guys can do to help promote the channel helps. It's brand new. It's only been going for a week so far. And if it's terrible quality, then obviously I don't ask you to do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. So really glad you're here. Appreciate you coming, hanging out with me. See you guys back on Monday. And we will get going on Monday and do some analysis. If you trade the rest of the day, good luck. Thank you for coming out. I really do appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a good one, DS. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just saw your comment about the Asus. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll get to the end of it, though, or the bottom of it. But you guys take care. Be safe out there. Signing off.